Leamons, welcome back to another video of mine. So, I'm going to discuss the weird romance that surrounds the Animal Jam community in a video. It may seem like nothing, you may even think I'm silly for making a video on it all, but it is a huge part of the game, and has always been for a long time. It is, and was, a bunch of different things. Keep in mind the age is aimed towards 7 to 12-year-olds. First, the weird romantic Animal Jam videos that wound up on YouTube. I would say another word for the kinds of weird romantic videos on YouTube, but I'm not going to because I want to remain somewhat kid-friendly. Things such as jammers fanficking themselves with Greely or other notable Animal Jam characters, stuff like jammers dating other jammers on the game, not even knowing who the person behind the screen was, simply flirting with other Animal Jammers, and in sometimes a mature demeanor that a kid really shouldn't hear, and the unfortunate shipping between Animal Jam content creators. So many weird romantic things in a children's game. How did it all get so wild and crazy? I mean, it's a kid's game after all, and that is what I will be talking about today. Quick side note, I will not be mentioning anything on the gross groomers in Animal Jam, since that's not really romantic, that's just nasty, and I've already made many videos on them before, and I don't think it's even necessary to include them in this video, as for it's kind of sickening to talk about. Anyways, with that all said and behind us, let's get into things. I'm Leamon Puppy, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started with the video. So first of all, Animal Jam is a multiplayer online game that is developed by WildWorks. It was launched in 2010 in collaboration with the National Geographic Society, although some of you may know National Geographic broke off their ties with Animal Jam in 2018, thus they left the game's partnership forever. But even before they cut their ties, Animal Jam had already been getting weird romantic related things on their game. It has happened very early on. In the virtual land of Animal Jam in Jamal, apparently players are encouraged to learn about the natural world. Well, that's not the only thing they're learning about on there, and that's kinda concerning. I started my journey by searching up Animal Jam romance on Google. I think that's where I made my first mistake, because what I found blew my mind. I always knew there was a lot of romance on the game, but I never just knew how much there was. First, the abundance of Animal Jam mating videos, or whatever you want to call those. If you know, you know, which is disgusting, guys. It's a children's game. Second, the shocking amounts of Animal Jam romance stories. There is a whole wiki page dedicated to the Animal Jam romance stories. Of course, I'm going to be giving some notable mentions. Greely knows a certain Phantom, Greely x Phantom King, Greely x Reader, which we will be reading a section from in a second here, Greely x Reader, the second part, obviously this story is a fan favorite, Hackers of Jamaa, How Greely and I Got Together, and How to Get an Animal Jam Girlfriend. Some classics from the past. I have read none of these, I'm merely joking here. Here's a part from the story from Greely x Reader to get an idea of what we're working with here. You, he began, you saved my life. He was at a loss for words. He stared into your eyes, puzzled by the various colors of your wisdom inside of them. He stepped forward, one step closer at a time. Your heart raced, feeling the energy in between you two. And before you knew it, his paw was on top of yours. His eyes locked into a predatory stare, right into your eyes. It happened. Your lips came in contact with Greely, the wolf alpha's lips. Your dream became a reality. I'm not sure what I just read, but I'll continue as if I never read it in the first place. I think that's the best way to go about this. Another huge romance aspect in Animal Jam was dating other jammers. I think a lot of people have actually done this on the game, and I want to be the first to tell you, it's okay. It's not like anything bad happened, so it shouldn't really matter. And that's the thing, if nothing bad happens, then it's not a problem in the slightest. But if something bad did happen, well, I'm very sorry for you. If the Animal Jam dating starts to get too personal, like they start asking for your personal real-life information, that's when it becomes an issue. You shouldn't give your information out to them, even if you somehow trust them completely, even if they told you that you're their only love and that you mean everything to them. Well, guess what? You have never seen that person in real life before to know if any of that's true. You don't even know if they're the same age or around the same age as you. They might tell you that they're also 13 years old, when in reality, you're dealing with some creepy 30-year-old. Or it's possible they might not even be the same sex that they are pretending to be on Animal Jam. It's easy to fake an outfit for the preferable gender, the most common being a girl pretending to be a guy. Like, that's happened way too many times to people, let's be honest here. And I'm not sure what their motives were if they did fake their gender. Honestly, I think most of the time it's harmless and they just want some sort of attention, or perhaps they preferred being the other gender. but then still went out of their way to get a girlfriend or boyfriend without that other person knowing they weren't actually a boy or a girl. Again, it just depends on the situation. This happened to me, by the way. Yes, Leamon Puppy dated someone on Animal Jam. No, I didn't ever give personal information, so none of it mattered in the end of the day. The jammer was a male, but later on became female. Yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. I asked them, and they said it was their sister playing. A common excuse, if you ask me. But I didn't really question it further since they ended up cheating on me anyways. Yeah, classic Animal Jam dating moment. Yep, that was the end of my dating on Animal Jam. And then eventually I progressed into dating in real life, which is definitely nicer in the long run, if you ask me. But something related to this is the flirting on Animal Jam. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I should categorize dating and flirting as a whole, but I decided I would talk about dating more on its own, and then flirting just super briefly. Obviously on the game, jammers will try to flirt with others. Sometimes it's just to annoy other jammers, and sometimes it's like totally genuine. That's what I found over the years of playing, at least. No, I've never done it before, don't worry. Not really, like with any intentions at least. I'm not very good at hitting up jammers with anything remotely flirtatious. Unless it's a joke and it's very obvious it's a joke. I've seen some flirting range from, alright, whatever, that's a compliment, I guess, to, oh my god, how can that be said in Animal Jam? Why does that look accurate? And that is inappropriate. That's basically a summary of how the flirting goes on the game. Typically it's just from new jammers or people who don't really play the game that often, since if they do get reported, then it wouldn't really matter. I never see it coming from a known or experienced player on the game, not anymore at least. Like, if it did happen in the past, I'm not so sure. I don't see it as bad unless it gets out of hand and is downright gross for children to witness or see. That's when I and many others have a problem. Otherwise, it's kind of just whatever. People are gonna flirt, jammers are gonna flirt. It's not really an age thing either. Young people try to flirt early on too, and might not even know why. Just depends on what they say and if it's appropriate for a kid's game. That's all I had to really say for flirting. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the shipping between YouTubers on Animal Jam. This will also be a very brief mention, but I still wanted to discuss it nonetheless. This happened more in the past when Animal Jam was more popular, especially with its content creators and Jambassadors. Fans of these content creators would create fan art for the YouTubers of their Animal Jam main looks. They would also make stories and fanfictions on them, some being more mature than other reads, if you know what I'm saying. Some of the ships had ship wars and were taken very seriously by the fandom. I think one ship ended up becoming a real relationship, and they met up in person, which is good for them, I guess. But then the others were kind of just weird and uncalled for. For anyone wondering, yes, I have been shipped with another YouTuber before. I'm not going to say who it was with, because we both felt very uncomfortable about it. Not to mention our age difference made it very, very weird, and we were just friends at the time. We don't even talk that much anymore, so make sure to think before you randomly ship people. But honestly, that's all I had to say for the romance about shipping Animal Jam YouTubers. I thought it should be mentioned, but there's only so much I could say. Especially since I wasn't really on Animal Jam for the shipping of the old Jambassadors. I started playing the game more around 2017 in March, which I think they might have still been shipped around that time too. But I didn't really watch their videos since I only played Animal Jam Play Wild. Either way, that's it for the video on Animal Jam and its weird romances. I thought it would be interesting to take a look and talk about many of the weird romantic things within Animal Jam, as it is a big part of the game. Good and bad. It just really depends on what it is and its circumstances. As I've talked about already, flirting and dating is fine, to a certain extent. Same goes with all the other things. But what do you guys think about all this? Do you have any stories you want to share? Maybe some funny, weird, romantic stories from Animal Jam? Be honest, did you guys ever like Greeley or any of the other alphas? Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'm Leamon Puppy, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys all next time.